My boyfriend dumped me on a random Tuesday with the words, "You were just a good in-between." 2 days later, he posted a new girl with the caption, "Found my peace." But here's the thing, he didn't just cheat, he evolved his lies. And the girl in the photo? She didn't know about me either. Turns out, she was blindsided too. Once we compared stories, we teamed up, and what we uncovered next didn't just change the story, it burned the whole script. I still can't believe I'm writing this. I just don't want to believe. You know those breakup stories? Where the signs were all there, but you chose not to see them? Yeah, this was that. It was a random Tuesday in March, still cold outside, but the kind of day where the sun tricks you into thinking it's warm. I was working from home, sipping my sad iced coffee that had more oat milk than actual caffeine, when Liam texted, "Can we talk later?" Like, in person. My stomach dropped. Not because of the text itself. We'd had a few minor arguments recently, sure, but because something about it felt rehearsed, mechanical. Like he'd copy-pasted it from a breakup template. We'd been together for 3 years. We met at a music festival, classic cliche, but it was kinda cute. He offered me his flannel during a windy set. I joked that I'd give it back after our wedding. We were inseparable after that. Shared playlists, matching coffee mugs, joint dog custody with his roommate before we got our own place together. You know the deal. We felt real. Or so I thought. When he came over that evening, I knew something was wrong the second I opened the door. No flowers, no stupid smile, not even his usual, "Hey babe," just a tight jaw and darting eyes. He didn't sit down. He stood in my living room like a stranger, trying not to overstay their welcome. "I've been thinking," he said, hands in his pockets, like he was about to ask for a refund instead of end a relationship. Us, it doesn't feel right anymore. I think maybe I rushed into things with you. You were a good in-between. You helped me figure out what I want. I just stared at him. A good in-between? Like I was some layover between airports, like I was a placeholder, until his real life arrived. My mouth went dry. I didn't even cry, not then. I just whispered, "Is there someone else?" And he had the nerve to pause before saying no. That pause told me everything. He left 10 minutes later. No big fight, no begging, no real goodbye. Just the quiet click of my door shutting and the sound of my world breaking apart like glass behind it. The worst part? I still loved him. Even after that. Or maybe I loved who I thought he was. 2 days. That's how long it took him to move on. Or maybe just stop pretending. It was Thursday night, around 9:40 p.m. I was doom-scrolling in bed, wearing the hoodie he left behind. Pathetic. I know, with a face mask half-dried on my cheeks and a glass of wine I hadn't even touched. I didn't want to be on social media, but I couldn't help myself. I had this sick curiosity, like picking at a scab. And then, I saw it. One of my friends, Haley, a total sweetheart who works with me at the bookstore, DM'd me a post with nothing but 3 fire emojis and a girl I am so sorry. It was Liam. Posted a full carousel. First photo, him and her, a girl I didn't recognize, sitting on the hood of his Jeep, golden hour lighting, both grinning like they were in a Jeep commercial. Second, her laughing with a coffee in her hand, clearly candid, clearly intimate. Third, a mirror pic of them in a hotel bathroom, his shirt on her. The caption? "Found my peace." My stomach turned. It wasn't just the post, it was the timing. We'd broken up 2 days ago. Not 2 weeks, not 2 months, 2 days. I clicked on her profile, sage.aurora, 3,204 followers, digital wellness coach, manifestation girly, all beige aesthetics and inspirational quotes over sunsets. We had 2 mutuals. My finger hovered over them. My heart knew before my brain caught up. Click. First mutual. Some girl from college I barely talked to. Whatever. Second mutual. Jasmine. My ex-best friend. Oh no. The kind of best friend you lose touch with after a messy falling out. Mine involved her accidentally sleeping with someone I liked sophomore year and then playing the victim about it. We hadn't spoken in over 2 years, but now she was following Sage. I felt the rage bubbling before I could make sense of it. I scrolled deeper. Sage's account had older posts, way older than I expected. A photo from January, her hand, holding Liam's mug. A shot of a dog that looked an awful lot like Luna, our rescue. He was just dog sitting while I visited my family over winter break. Wait, my brain was starting to short circuit. That photo of her in the Jeep? I took one just like it of Liam. In October. My vision blurred as I kept scrolling, piecing it all together like some sick digital detective. The comments, the likes. One from a week before our breakup under her soft launch pic of their coffee hands. "You deserve someone who sees your magic." Liam's reply? Finally found it. I threw my phone across the room. It hit the carpet and didn't break, but I wished it had. I wanted something to shatter that night, because clearly, it was me. He'd been seeing her while we were still together. But that's not even the craziest part, because the next morning, I got a message from someone I really didn't expect. And that message, it changed everything. It was 7:16 a.m. I hadn't slept. My phone was somewhere on the floor under my bed, the screen still lit up from last night's emotional crime scene of an Instagram scroll. My mouth was dry, my eyes swollen, and every part of me felt hollow, like I'd been emotionally hit by a semi and left in the middle of a deserted highway. Then, I heard the ding. At first, I thought it was a promotional email or some influencer going live. But when I reached down and unlocked my phone, I froze. ADM from Sage.Aurora. The same girl from the post, the girl in the bathroom mirror, wearing his shirt, the girl Liam said he found peace with. And she messaged me, "Hey, I know this is random, but I think we need to talk. I didn't know about you until last night. I'm so sorry." I stared at it like it was written in another language. This girl, the girl I was convinced had replaced me before I even had time to finish grieving our relationship, was apologizing? I didn't reply. Not right away. I took a deep breath, pulled my blanket tighter around me, and reread the message over and over again. I clicked into her profile again. Now that I wasn't rage scrolling, I really looked. Her smile in those photos, not smug, not even confident, more like hopeful, and weirdly unfamiliar, even though I'd memorized her face. And her older captions? Trying again. One more time. Healing doesn't always look pretty. There were hints, breadcrumbs, but I didn't want to make excuses. I needed clarity. So I did something uncharacteristically bold for 7 a.m. I replied, "Talk then. I'm awake. Spill everything." Her typing bubble popped up immediately, like she'd been waiting for it. And what she told me next? It unraveled everything I thought I knew about Liam, about our relationship, and about her. Because apparently, she didn't know she was the other woman. Because he lied to her too. We moved the convo off Instagram, and she asked if I was comfortable hopping on a quick video call. I hesitated. I looked a mess. Puffy eyes, yesterday's hoodie, hair in a top knot. That had given up the will to live, but I didn't care. 5 minutes later, I was staring at Sage's face on my cracked screen. And the first thing she said, "I thought you were the ex. Like, long gone. I had no idea he was still living with you." I blinked. "Wait, you thought I was the ex?" She nodded, looking like she was going to be sick. "I only found out when someone tagged him in one of your photos last night, and I went down a rabbit hole. He told me you were his ex from over a year ago, that things ended badly, but you were still posting throwbacks to mess with his peace. That lying son of a nope, not saying it. Monetization safe rage only." I covered my mouth. I felt nauseous. "He said you were unstable," she continued, "that you were still hung up on him. That's why I never asked questions. I didn't even know you two were living together." At that moment, something in my brain clicked. Liam hadn't just cheated. He built parallel relationships, lies stacked on lies, carefully arranged so that neither of us would know about the other. And then she said something that gave me chills. "Look, I get if you hate me, but I think we were both played. And if it helps, I have proof." She held up her phone and pulled up a screenshot of their texts. One of them, dated 2 weeks before we broke up, said, "Once I end things with the clingy one, it's all you. Promise." The clingy one was me. That's when I knew. Liam didn't just move on. He orchestrated my downfall like it was a scene from a movie. But I wasn't going to be the tragic girl left crying in the credits. I had a plan. And yes, Sage wanted in. I don't know what shocked me more, finding out that Liam lied to both of us, or realizing that Sage was just as betrayed as I was. Because here's the thing, I wanted to hate her. I wanted her to be the villain in this story. But once we started talking, she wasn't. She was kind, hurt, a little lost, honestly. She even apologized again at the end of our call and said, if I had known even half of this, I never would have touched him. And I believed her. So yeah, I didn't just forgive her, I teamed up with her. Because if Liam wanted to play both of us like pawns, he was about to find out what happens when the girls compare notes. Over the next few days, we became low-key besties. Trauma bonding is wild like that. Our DMs turned into late-night texts, meme exchanges, even one FaceTime session where we rated Liam's past outfit spoiler. He peaked in 2021 and has been dressing like a lost TikTok DJ ever since. But beneath the jokes, we were angry. Both of us had been lied to, manipulated, used, and then discarded, like we were just practice for his real life. And then Sage said something that made my spine tingle. You know what would really mess with him? if we made it look like we were cool, publicly cool. I blinked. You want to post a photo together? She grinned. Why not? Two beautiful women. Same ex. No drama, just unbothered energy. Was it petty? Yes. Was it brilliant? Absolutely. So we made a plan. We both followed each other publicly on Instagram. That alone was enough to send a ripple through his feed. Within 4 hours, I got a text from Liam. Weird seeing you follow Sage. Everything okay? Nope. Not even a hello. Just straight up panic. I left him on read. 2 hours later, he tried again. Seriously though, is this some kind of thing? A thing? Babe, you have no idea. We met for coffee on a sunny Sunday afternoon. I wore a white linen dress. I knew Liam hated too boho, he once said. Sage wore a matching top in cream and gold. We looked like Pinterest threw up in the best way possible. We ordered iced matcha, sat at the cutest window seat, and got a stranger to take a photo of us. We smiled big, effortless, glowing. The caption? Healing looks different on everyone. This is ours, no hard feelings. We tagged the location as his favorite coffee shop. Let me tell you, he spiraled. 3 hours after we posted, my phone lit up with notifications. 3 missed calls, 2 voice messages, 1 700-word text essay. And I kid you not, the first words were, "This feels really unnecessary and dramatic, don't you think?" OH, now it's dramatic? When we post a cute photo? Not when he was living a double life? And emotionally detonating both of our hearts? I didn't reply. Neither did Sage. But the next morning, he showed up at my apartment. Y'all, he brought flowers, peonies, my favorite. Like that was gonna fix 3 years of lies. I opened the door just enough to say, should have brought those 3 years ago. We've bloomed without you. Then I shut the door in his stunned face. But it wasn't over. Not yet, because later that week, I found something hidden at the back of the drawer he never wanted me to open. And what I found? It changed everything I thought I knew about Liam. So, remember how I said Liam had a drawer he never let me touch? It was this small wooden thing on the side of his desk, always locked, always just work stuff. I never pushed because I trusted him. LOL. Past me was adorable. After everything blew up, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I hadn't touched it the night he dumped me. I'd been too emotionally wrecked to even consider snooping. But now that I knew he was a liar with Olympic-level cheating technique, I was absolutely opening that drawer. And guess what? It wasn't locked, just jammed. I pulled a little harder, and it slid right open. And what was inside? Not work files, not tax documents, not even the sketchy romantic keepsakes I halfway expected. There was a shoebox, worn and taped shut. On the lid, just one word: plan. Plan. Not memories, not stuff, just plan. I opened it. My hands were shaking. Inside were printed documents, notes, screenshots, folders labeled with things like Career Goals Finances 2024, Social Strategy. But that wasn't the weird part. The weird part was that none of them had my name in them. Not once. Every section was about how to optimize his image, build traction as a lifestyle brand, and maintain a low-drama online presence for sponsorship alignment. There were literal spreadsheets analyzing social clout of women he had dated or planned to date. I wish I were joking. And right there, under the section titled Transitions, was a bullet point that said, ease out of current relationship with minimal backlash. Avoid looking like the villain. Find upgrade with compatible aesthetic. You guys, he project managed our breakup. I sat on the floor of our old shared office, holding what was essentially my replacement strategy, reading how my 3-year relationship had been reduced to a phase he had to move through. There was even a line that said, past relationship too cozy safe doesn't align with new direction. Need someone with stronger personal brand. I felt sick, because it wasn't just about cheating. It wasn't even about Sage. It was about Liam turning his entire life, including his love life, into a brand. He didn't just replace me with someone new. He curated someone who looked good on paper, sounded good on Instagram, and fit the vibe of the Liam 2.0 he was trying to become. I took photos of everything in that box. Every last page. Then I called Sage. She answered on the first ring, voice breathless, like she already knew something was up. Girl, I said, he didn't just play us, he planned us. The next 48 hours, Sage and I went full FBI. We created a shared Google Drive, organized the screenshots, even mapped out a timeline of his lies, and calculated overlaps between me, her, and 2 other girls we'd found tagged in old photos. He wasn't just a cheater. He was a chronic clout chaser with a spreadsheet fetish. And we had receipts. Now the only question was, what were we gonna do with them? And y'all already know, we didn't let this stay buried. Because if Liam wanted to build a personal brand, we were about to show his real one to the world. We didn't set out to go viral. We weren't trying to ruin his life. At least, not technically. What Sage and I wanted was accountability. What we needed was closure. What we got, well, let's just say, when you mess with two smart, hurt, emotionally wrecked women who now have a shared Google Drive filled with every lie you've ever told, you're not walking away clean. Here's what we did. We created a joint TikTok account, Not Your Placeholder. Credit to Sage for the name. Iconic. No names, no direct accusations, just facts, receipts, and aesthetic vengeance. The first video was a montage. Me and Sage side-by-side mirror selfies, awkward old couple pics with Liam faces blurred, screenshots of the timeline we'd built, and quotes pulled directly from Liam's transition plan folder. We used the viral sound that was trending that week. I'm not the villain in your story. I just finally started telling mine. The caption? When you find out you were the placeholder while he planned his rebrand. Girl code receipts healing together. We thought maybe a few hundred views. Maybe some girls in the comments sharing their own horror stories. By midnight, 1.3 million views. By the next day, over 5,000 comments, mostly women saying, "Wait, I dated a guy just like this. The way y'all teamed up though, not him, project managing your heartbreak it?" Blew up. Liam texted me first. "What the hell is this? Take it down." No punctuation, no apology, no attempted denial, just panic. Then he texted Sage, "This is harassment. I could lose my job." Oh really? You mean the same job where he was pitching himself as a relatable male lifestyle voice for Gen Z brands? Oops. Because apparently someone at his company saw the video and recognized him even with the blurred face. And by the end of the week, Sage got a DM from one of his former coworkers, confirming he'd been caught lying about the company's own clients to boost his clout. Yep, Liam wasn't just shady in relationships, he was sketchy professionally too. Sage and I, we kept posting, not just about Liam. We turned our joint page into a space for story sharing, healing, laughing through the pain. People started sending us their placeholder stories. We were building a whole community of women who realized they weren't crazy or too emotional. They were just lied to by people who thought they'd never compare notes. One of our videos even got stitched by a creator with 2 million followers who said, "This is why women are unstoppable when they stop fighting each other and start comparing timelines." Mic dropped. But even with all the support and attention, I couldn't shake this ache in my chest. Not for Liam, he was toast, but for the me that believed him, that defended him, that let herself be small so he could feel big. And that's when I knew this wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about reclaiming my story, my time, my peace. The next video I posted wasn't dramatic. It wasn't even about Liam. It was just me, in a new apartment, holding a cup of coffee, saying, "Healing doesn't always come with closure. Sometimes it comes with a lease in your own name, and a piece you didn't know you were allowed to feel." That one? It hit different. But trust me, this story's not over. Because just when I thought Liam had finally disappeared from my life for good, I got a call from his mother. And what she told me? Well, it turns out I wasn't the only one he lied to. It was a Tuesday again, go figure. Tuesdays had become cursed for me at this point. I was on my way home from Trader Joe's, minding my business with a tote bag full of frozen Gucci and emotional stability, when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. But something in me said, "Pick up." Hello? Pause. Then a soft voice. "Hi. Is this Olivia?" Only one person says my name like that. Liam's mom, Marlene. I hadn't heard from her since the breakup. She'd always been sweet to me, kind. The kind of mom who'd send handwritten birthday cards and make apple pie just because. The kind of woman who'd cry at Christmas commercials and insist on hugging you twice before you left her house. I pulled over immediately. "Marlene? Are you okay?" She sniffled. "I'm so sorry to call you out of the blue. I needed to tell someone, and I didn't know who else would understand." My stomach sank. "What happened?" I asked, already bracing myself. And what she said next sent me into full-body chills. Apparently Liam had been lying to her too, for years. "I found his old laptop," she said. "The one he used before college. I only turned it on to check the photos, but there were files, notes, like scripts, things he planned to say to people, including you." I blinked, gripping my steering wheel harder. "Scripts?" "Yes," she whispered. "Conversations he wrote out ahead of time. Word for word. Breakups, excuses, apologies, even stories he told us about his job. He wrote them all ahead of time, like he was rehearsing a play." Oh, my God. This man had been scripting his relationship since high school. He didn't react to life, he directed it. Marlene continued, her voice breaking. I always thought he was just organized, but now I see it. He's been manipulating everyone, even me, and I feel like I let him do it to you. I reassured her, told her it wasn't her fault, that she didn't owe me anything, and honestly, she was one of the few good parts of dating him. But deep down, I could hear her guilt swallowing her whole. That's when she told me something that stopped my breath. He didn't just lie to you about Sage, or about your relationship. He had someone before you too, someone he left without a word. Apparently, back in college, Liam had been dating a girl named Rachel. Long-term, serious, even talked about marriage. Then one day, he ghosted her, deleted everything, told his mom she got too clingy and moved on. But now that she'd seen the pattern, Marlene wasn't so sure. She ended the call with, I don't know what he's chasing, Olivia. But I know now. You deserved so much better. I just thought you should know that. I sat in my parked car for 15 minutes, just staring. He wasn't just a cheater. He was a chronic actor, someone who scripted his whole life, including our love story. And suddenly, all those moments I replayed, the ones I blamed myself for, felt different. It wasn't that I was too much. It's that he was never real. That night, I texted Sage. She replied instantly. So, he's a walking episode of you, but without the charm? Pretty much. But we weren't scared anymore. We weren't sad. We were done being played. And now? We were going to do something we hadn't done yet. We were going to reach out to Rachel, the first girl he ghosted. Because I had a feeling she had one last puzzle piece to complete this whole disaster. Finding Rachel wasn't hard. Her Instagram was still public, still artsy, still warm and saturated, like a Wes Anderson movie in grid form. She looked soft, like someone who hadn't been hardened yet. And once I found her, I understood why Liam's mom remembered her so clearly. Rachel had that vibe, the cozy scarf, tea in hand, dog at her feet kind of girlfriend. The kind who knits while watching documentaries and makes themed birthday cards. In other words, the kind of girl you don't just leave, unless you're Liam, and you never had any intention of staying in the first place. Sage and I debated for a full hour about how to reach out. Would it freak her out? Would she ignore us? Eventually, I sent the message from my own account. Simple, gentle, respectful. Hi, Rachel. I know this is completely out of the blue, and I'm sorry to intrude, but I think we might have someone in common. If you dated Liam Hart back in college and something weird happened, I'd really appreciate if we could talk. She didn't reply that day, or the next. But on the third day, at exactly 6:48 p.m. she sent back, I was wondering when someone would message me about him. My heart stopped. We set up a call. Sage joined too, and when Rachel logged in, I saw it. The sadness, the knowing, the tiny flicker of relief in her eyes, like finally. I dated him for a year and a half, Rachel said. We met in a campus club. He was charming, polite, a little intense, but thoughtful in that way that makes you feel like you're special. Sound familiar? She told us how Liam used to leave her notes in her books, pre-order coffee for her before early classes, plan weekend trips 2 months in advance. He was the perfect boyfriend until he wasn't. The way he left her? Ghosted. As in, one day he kissed her goodnight after dinner, and the next day, gone. Phone disconnected, socials deleted, apartment emptied. She didn't even know they'd broken up until 2 weeks later, when someone mentioned seeing him with another girl already official. Her voice trembled when she said, I thought I did something wrong, that I missed a sign. I spent a year wondering if I was broken. I felt Sage inhale sharply beside me. Rachel went on, I didn't know he did it to anyone else until I saw your TikTok. Someone sent it to me. I thought maybe it was a fluke, but I recognized the patterns. He love bombs. He miraculously becomes whoever you need. Then he gets bored and vanishes. Suddenly, my entire relationship with Liam felt like template code, a reused script. And when Sage said softly, he told me I was the first girl he ever really opened up to, Rachel just laughed, bitter and raw. Yeah, he told me that too. Here's the kicker. Rachel had screenshots from back then, emails, messages from fake accounts she suspects were his, even notes she'd written to herself trying to piece together what went wrong. It was also familiar, too familiar. Sage and I exchanged a look. We didn't even have to say it. Liam doesn't fall in love. He builds illusions, puppets, scripts, until the fantasy no longer serves him, and then he replaces it. The three of us talked for over 2 hours that night. 3 women, 3 timelines, same man, same tricks, same lies, just with different filters and seasons. We ended the call with the weirdest feeling. Not rage, not heartbreak, relief. Because for the first time, it wasn't just me. I wasn't too clingy. Sage wasn't too sensitive. Rachel wasn't too emotional. We were just too real for a man addicted to fiction. And that realization? That was the beginning of something new. Because we had closure now. And Liam? He was finally out of pages. So here's the thing no one tells you about betrayal. It doesn't just break your heart. It breaks your identity. I spent 3 years with Liam. 3 birthdays. 3 winters. 3 versions of myself molded around someone who treated me like a stepping stone on the way to his Pinterest perfect lifestyle brand. But after everything Sage, Rachel, and I uncovered, something in me cracked open. Not broken, not ruined, rewritten. So I did what any emotionally resilient, post-betrayal woman would do. I put on mascara, made a matcha latte, and posted the softest, most powerful photo I'd ever taken of myself. It was simple. Me on my balcony. No filter. Wearing my comfiest sweater, and the hoop earrings he once said were too big. Eyes tired, but strong. The caption? Turns out, I wasn't hard to love. He was just too scared to love anyone he couldn't control. Healing softly. And I tagged no one. Just myself. I didn't expect it to take off. But by the next morning, over 18,000 likes. Hundreds of DMs from women saying things like, I needed this today. Why did this hit harder than my breakup? You just put into words what I couldn't say out loud. It was like my healing wasn't just mine anymore, it was ours. And suddenly, I realized I had a voice. Meanwhile, Sage had gone back to school to finish her psychology degree. She messaged me one morning, thinking of focusing my thesis on the psychology of digital identity and relational narcissism. Wonder who inspired that Rachel started a blog. It was called Unscripted. First post, how to reclaim yourself after loving a man who wanted a mirror, not a partner. The 3 of us formed this weird, beautiful group chat called the X-Files. Yes, we're hilarious. And it became a space for both tears and absolute chaos energy memes. Every time one of us got a you up, text from a toxic ex, the others would flood the chat with red flag emojis and unhinged voice notes. Healing, 2025 style. And then, one night, something strange happened. I was out for dinner with Haley, my bookstore coworker and low-key guardian angel, when she pulled up her phone and showed me a post. It was from Liam's old account, but it wasn't a thirst trap, not a gym selfie, not even some moody quote about growth. It was a black screen with white text. To the women I hurt, I see it now. I used people to build a version of myself that wasn't real. And I'm sorry, especially to the one who was never a placeholder, just the one I couldn't keep up with. My breath caught. He didn't say my name, but he didn't have to. I knew. And maybe it was real remorse. Or maybe it was just another script, another act for his next audience. But for the first time, I didn't care. Because I wasn't waiting for closure anymore. I had created my own ending.